What I find most compelling about Persona 5 The Phantom X is just how authentic it is to being an actual Persona experience, even though it is a gacha. It goes far beyond feeling like a Persona 5 spin-off, and much more like an indefinite continuation of Persona 5's universe that can keep living on, far past your original days at LeBlanc Cafe. A special shout out to Atlas for sponsoring today's video and giving us the opportunity to talk about this game, because it's been one of my most anticipated games since it first debuted in China. And at long last, the global release of P5X is finally here and playable. First and foremost, I must be crystal clear that this is not my review of P5X. This game is absolutely packed with an insane amount of content. I mean, it is literally a Persona game, and it is going to take tons of time before I could say anything definitive on that front. However, I do want to discuss my thoughts on this game so far as a massive Persona fan. For starters, Persona 5 The Phantom X is a game currently available on PC and mobile and reimagines the Persona 5 experience. This includes a brand new cast as well as a brand new story. You take the role of a brand new protagonist in the possession of the wild card, who becomes the Phantom Thief codenamed Wonder. You also get a little Morgana-looking dude named Lufel, who provides a very similar role, being your mentor as well as the guy who provides a ton of exposition about the metaverse. The structure of this game mirrors that of Persona 5's formula, leading a double life as an ordinary student by day and a Phantom Thief by night. The core concept is one that you're going to be familiar with if you are a P5 head: stealing corrupt individuals' distorted desires and making them have a change of heart. This comes with a suite of brand new palaces for you to explore, as well as a brand new Velvet Room. Now, the Velvet Room in Persona 5, the main game, was a prison, but interestingly here, it's actually an aquarium, and this also includes a brand new Velvet Room attendant named Mementos, who I am already madly in love with. Big surprise there. I will never beat the allegations of being a Velvet Room attendant simp because I am not trying to. What I find most impressive about this game is its authenticity to Persona 5. The game's opening is seemingly a recreation of Persona 5's opening in Sae's palace. They even allow you to control Joker himself, or so it seems. But all in all, the opening hours of the game are meant to recreate the feelings of when you first played Persona 5, and the game absolutely nails that sensation. In fact, you'll also see cameos from various Persona 5 iconic characters like Joker, Ann, Ryuji, so if you can't get enough of the original Phantom Thieves, then you'll be getting a little bit more of those characters here in this game. One of the major things about Persona 5 X is that it doesn't have a calendar system. In Persona 5, of course, you have to manage your days wisely to complete each palace before a set deadline. Thus far, it seems like traditional time constraints are out the window. You might be wondering, okay, then what's to prevent me from immediately maxing out a social link? There is of course a stamina system that restricts the amount of things you can do, but thus far I would say this system feels pretty lenient. So thus far it doesn't feel like it inhibits you from playing the game as much as you'd like, but again, I'm still early. So if you have your gripes with the main Persona game's calendar system, you might actually enjoy this game more without the time restrictions. Mementos is back in P5X, and while it carries the same vibes, its functionality and purpose have been greatly expanded. Mementos here is the central hub for exploration, progression, and access to palaces. It's also no longer just a procedurally generated maze. Mementos is now a pre-designed dungeon in itself, though each floor is still packed with enemies, treasure chests, side objectives, and hidden events like you'd expect from Mementos. This being said, it still serves as a place to grind for experience, materials, advanced side quests, and all the things you'd expect as a Persona 5 fan. But I think what sets it apart from this game is how it's integrated into the game structure. If you play Persona 5, you'd know that the palaces manifest in places outside of Mementos, overlapping in the metaverse to a significant real-world location. For example, Kamoshida's palace was the school itself. However, in this game, palaces exist inside of Mementos. Speaking of palaces, they follow the same core idea as in Persona 5. They are distorted cognitive worlds born from twisted desires of corrupted individuals. The first palace belongs to a man named Kyuchi. Now this guy's whole thing is that he really likes pushing people, like shoving them down the stairs, or just knocking them over in general. He just really enjoys hurting people for the thrill of the game. And whenever he's confronted by the police about it, he just says that it was an accident. And without any evidence, he always gets off and is able to continue doing his thing. A corrupt person that no one will do anything about. A classic target for the Phantom Thieves. Infiltrating his palace will help you discover his youth and how he was haunted by his failed career in baseball. The aesthetics and designs of the palaces are on par with the Persona 5 main game, with various challenges to overcome. Of course, this leads us into one of the best parts of Persona in general. The iconic turn-based system from the mainline Persona games is here, albeit streamlined with a few tweaks to fit the mobile and live service design. You still exploit enemy weaknesses to trigger one more turns, and once all the enemies are knocked down, you're able to unleash a flashy all-out attack. And as expected, you're able to switch personas mid-battle. Baton Pass is here, though it has been simplified. Teammates are mapped to buttons, and whenever you press a corresponding teammate, it will automatically hit the enemy with that weakness. I was also pretty surprised that the game just automatically tells you which weaknesses the enemies have. Of course, in any other Persona game, you'd have to guess at what the enemy's weaknesses are, and there's a balance of doing that and also conserving SP. But here, you're always going to know at the beginning of every fight. Combat definitely remains flashy and is bolstered by gorgeous animations, elemental affinities, buffs and debuffs, and everything else you would expect from Persona combat. Of course, you can always auto-battle for easier encounters, but tougher boss fights actually demand strategy and proper team synergy. A new layer to combat is Phantom Idols. These are characters who possess no Persona power of their own, instead are cognitive manifestations of people the protagonist knows in the real world, and they hold or once held strong desires. So put simply, Phantom Idols are cognitive versions of people with strong wills as Persona users, which of course means you have access to more than just the Phantom Thieves that the story gives you. P5X also remains remarkably faithful to the signature school life experience that defines the Persona series. Of course, this also means leveling up your social stats, building relationships with confidants, and choosing how you want to spend your time outside of school, including getting a part-time job. And there's also fun mini games to keep you engaged with those activities. The music of Persona 5 also returns with a ton of new compositions as well as beloved tracks. If you loved all the acid jazz from the original game, infused with the vocals of artist Lin, you are going to love the sound of Persona 5 The Phantom X. Persona 5 The Phantom X is a full Persona game that you can download right now for free, and thus far, it's a very remarkable game. I am looking forward to playing more of it and giving you my updated thoughts. But until then, be sure to check out Persona 5 The Phantom X, available right now on PC through Steam, and on Android and iOS via the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Let me know your thoughts on the game so far, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later, guys.